Peitasif base. Im to biyom hamaunon uberchu al Sefiras Ha'Omer. What's that? Okay, not with me. Im to biyom hamaunon uberchu al Sefiras Ha'Omer chorizin lespo kishetachshach. If there was an overcast day and they thought that it was night, and they counted early, you have to count again when it's dark. When is it that we're counting? How is it we can make such a mistake? I just will mention that even when it's a very, let's speak to somebody like Mark Stern will tell us, when it's a really ugly day, how dark can it get in England? No, I don't know how you can really make a mistake and think that it's night. I don't really get it. But, right? Does it really make that mistake?
I think it's close to night. Ben Hashmash is very low.
I don't know. I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that question. In other words, and you made a bracha, and then you out that it was too early. How does this happen? In other words, even when it's a okay, fine. This sounds like a very common occurrence, right? Even when there's a total eclipse of the sun, it's not dark outside.
No, when there's a total eclipse, we don't know. I've never seen one.
Even when there's a total eclipse, it's not dark because the sun, it only becomes like shadow. You can Google it.
I've never seen it myself.
You can take a look at the science books. The total eclipse is not dark. It just becomes like a little bit overcast because you just have no direct sunlight. But still, the sun is still shining. What? Yeah. Anyways, this should be our biggest caution clear. Anyways, the bottom line is, the person made this mistake, and he counted. You have to count over again. Now, and the reason why I'm pointing this out is because I do believe that something that Gil said is pretty close to the truth. If you had a count when it's night, dark, I think my question's a good question. But if you can count when it's bein hashmashos, so then you can make a mistake. You understand? In other words, as opposed to the Mishnah Berurah, or the Machaber Shulchan Aruch in Hilchos Shabbos, it says someone's Mekabel Shabbos, and they, so also they're talking about all these things, talking about when you're not doing it when it's night, you're doing it when it's bein hashmashos. Then I believe that it's possible to make this mistake. Okay? The people who are particular, they count when it's Teisa Kechavim, V'chein Roi Lasos, and it's proper to do what the Medaktikim do, even if you're not a Medaktik.
Mistake?
No. Because it's Roi Lasos to count that night. Okay? So that's it. Chayzin. Who did Rajma Tuva? Before Shom Shakol is Pal Gam Arvis Koidem. They daven. V'lein Yemairev Elam Lachso L'Spalo Mishom Tircha D'Tzibura. Okay, so it's good enough. Ach lein Yisvira Lo Mishkechinu B'Tircha Didu. We're not worried about Tircha. Ki Ech Yoma L'Mashal Asar Yomim V'Einu Melatisha. Ki Osa Yom Tishahu. We cannot forgive you for this mistake. Why is it not a
serious Kechavim? It's for sure serious Kechavim, but Ben Hashmashos is either, we don't know if it's there or not. So how can you say the Vadot is not the same thing? You can just say it's.
You fell into the ultimate trap in learning. I'm not picking that.
No, please. Hopefully won't fall into it again.
You made an assumption, and based on your assumption, you asked the question.
No, I just.
One second.
What he said.
It doesn't say anything here.
He said, not to say Zachavim, the Vadot is the same thing.
When is it that the person counted?
Before.
Before what? Oh, But you said.
No,
No. You
How
said.
can you come before Shkia?
1 second. Did he do it on purpose?
I thought he's davening.
What is that word? The first one we started off. Second word. Excuse me. 1 second. What's the second word? Toe. They thought that it was right. No,
Okay.
right. They thought that it was a time that you could daven Ma'ariv already.
Right.
Now we didn't say, and they found that it wasn't the time. What time did they really daven? And say here it doesn't say.
Right.
You made a statement about when it was, and then you have a chutzpah to ask me, and you were based on your assumption, right? So right, which is fine. I do the same thing, but just I can't use it. It's pleasanter. Anyways.
No, I thought the word. I didn't think we were in the word of Torah before because I thought we just said it's very suggestion possible to make a mistake.
So that's why I started off, and I explained. That's I. No, now I'll get a second. Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Now I want to repeat what we said, what we learned till now. I asked the question, even in England, where it's all rainy and a horrible weather, how do you make a mistake between day and night? So I said, obviously, that they were counting Bein Hashmoshes, and you made a difference between when it's day dreary, or smiley for English, day dreary, and Bein Hashmoshes.
Okay.
Right. So what did I say? I said that they thought they were counting Bein Hashmoshes, and they counted during the daytime before Shkia. That's the way I read. I thought it was clear, and that's why I read the Mishnah. That was my explanation. Okay.
What I can remember from 50 years ago when we used to count, the shul's meaning was like it was light outside.
Really?
Counted
Can I ask you a question? What time is this Shkia in England now?
probably about yes, maybe 10 minutes.
Now,
No way.
8 o'clock.
No way. Probably almost the same as here.
Yeah, it's usually 40 minutes later.
Like a trick.
8:13.
Yeah, we are right now by the equinox, right? 12-hour days, 12-hour nights. Now we're actually at 13-hour days and 11-hour nights, if you really want to know. Zricha was at 5:59, I think, this morning, at least in Yerushalayim. Was 6:01, I think, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we're at a 13-hour day. We're very close to perfect. I mean, by the time Shavuos gets around, it's going to be different, but we're accelerating rapidly. So I don't believe that they were down. Maybe they did that for a plug at that time.
I just remember like
No, it's at night in the winter. In the summer, that's what they do. I know Suffolk, but in the summer, in the equinox, do they do that?
That's not
Yeah.
so
They did
It's
that.
around
I was in
8 o'clock.
Southend.
Right. So say they do probably Mincha Meyer before and after Shkia, not before and after plug.
Yeah. They were down before Rosh Hashanah, not Mari before Shkia.
In England?
In Southend, that's what they did 20 years ago. I was there.
Yeah.
Summer, maybe.
In the summer,
No,
at this
you
time.
can't count Homer in the summer.
Well,
During
Omer, you know.
No, but they were doing. I know it was before Shkia. Maybe it was just a bit of shmoshes.
I asked the kasha because it was still light out. I went to.
You look, I was
They
down
didn't have
there.
a rabbi then. They had a cantor, so he said, "I'll look it up. I'll find it out."
Okay. All right. Fine.
otherwise we wouldn't have a minute tomorrow.
No, I understand, but 8 o'clock is not so late. It's not like
You
it's
didn't
not
have to
10
go
o'clock.
on.
All right, but whatever it is. Now, let's see the Mishnah Berurah again. Now, there's a fascinating Biur Halacha over here, which I'd like to share with you. Yeah. Here is the Biur Halacha. I can't find it. No, okay, that's the first thing, the Yud Zayin. Okay, this chart is also interesting. Okay, well, this is a cause of a tool. Mistava do a side or enough in parish place of the Chayzer list of the Blachov, the Nachlif, like Kasagdoila, Bishur. Okay, now the Hechesh is Pal will be plugged Minchul Maila. If they daven Ma'ariv after plug mincha. You're not choizer umavorech on sfira. The sefer believe brach. Umesayim b'tzarchi. Why? What's the question? Can plug make it into the next day? As it says in the Rashba. If a person davened Ma'ariv before plug, there's no way that we could be mavatar on davening Ma'ariv again, right? So al kocha that has to be that this whole episode happened post plug mincha. So how could these achronim say that you don't have to you don't have to count sphere with the bracha? Okay, let's just get to the point. Which we're going to discuss, that possibly if you counted after plug, you don't have to count again with a bracha. Okay. Now we're going to see. We'll get to the next. Okay. All right. So says the Mishnah Berurah. This for Mishtecha, but bracha didn't. That's when you're supposed to count really when it starts. As long as it's ben hashmoshes. Why? The ben hashmoshes and Suffolk Laila. And you can go lakula and say that it is night. It's like your question, right? That's a suffix out of double. Let's fix it. We didn't say suffix. Okay. Now, now I just want to say something which is a fascinating subject. I don't want to get involved in this. I don't want to just touch on the subject. There's a musik in halacha called suffix derabanan al yedei gilgul. Now I'm gonna nothing to do with phones, okay? I saw everybody's faces smiling, glow in the dark people. Nothing to do with that. I have a shaila on koshering something. Yeah, I said, well, it's an eino be'nyo. So man, it's only the rabbanon, and therefore you can make on certain places. This is incorrect according to many poskim, and I'm not getting involved in when and where it's said, because the question is a question about a daraisa. And it happens to be that the question, though, is a question of a daraisa. The application in this particular situation is a drabanan. That's a gilgul. It evolved into a drabanan. But the question is a question of a daraisa. This which ben hashmoshes is Yom or Laila, that's a deraisa question. Its relevance to you in this situation is only derabbanan. What? But it's not a question in a derabbanan, it's a question in a deraisa. Understand?
And if we don't know the answer on the deraisa, we have
Correct.
to apply this question.
Correct. I'll tell you where this is relevant. I bumped into this the first year that I was married, and so I came up with an unbelievable idea. And by the way, I still think my idea is a good idea. Okay. In that first year that I was married here was Shemitah. And in those days, it was a big subject. I would like to date myself. When I got married, people in Israel did not have credit cards. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. And people bought with cash. Checks a lot of places didn't take. You remember this? Or this is already after this? God, right. Okay, but no, the whole, and therefore the question of taking change in Shemitah from the Yarkan was a serious question. Now, my Yarkan, everything's tap and pay, right? There's command, no such thing. There's a whole, we're in a different world. So there's a problem about when you get change from the Yarkan, if you're not going to do Shvius, they can only use that change for Kedusha Sefiras food. So I had a great idea. I said, I don't know what all you guys' problem is. There's a concept in halakha called Berurah. What does Berurah mean? Berurah means that we'll figure it out later. A very Jewish concept, right?
That's a Mishnah.
What? Nasa Nishma, yeah. But here it's much worse than that. In other words, a person writes a get for his wife, and you have to have in mind which physical body you're discussing. He has two wives. The name is Rachel Bas Ruvain, and he tells the Sefer, write the get for Rachel Bas Ruvain. He says, which one? So whichever one screams at me first. Okay, how's that? I don't know why bother writing get. Maybe I was just screaming at him. Anyways, and then Rachel ben Ruvain, number one, screams at him first. So they say, bingo, this get was written for her. Was it written for her? No. So I can pre-decide that what's going to happen later will happen now, right? Okay, that's the kind.
You're saying again, what?
That if you say yesh Berurah, then it
Oh,
works.
if you say
If you say yesh Berurah, it works. Okay. Now we paskin ein Berurah b'daraisa, v'yesh Berurah b'darabbanan. Okay. When it's a get shada d'rabbanan, you say Berurah. When it's a get shada d'oraisa, you don't say Berurah. So I said, I have no problem. I'll go to the Arkan, take all of my change, and I say that all of the change that I have that has Kedusha Shvius should be chal on the food that I eat with Kedusha Shvius. That's absolutely great, absolutely wonderful. And then I don't have to keep track of anything. So I went around to try to fakif this shtick and tire of mine. And some people were very intrigued by the idea. And others said, no, you can't be Meko because Shvius is Ikroi Daraisa. It's only Megalgo because nowadays it's a Drabona. So you can't say on Kedusha Shvius. Now, whether this is true or not true is a debate that has a Chazir, depends a lot. Since a lot of water under the bridge since then that has happened, but I'm more or less still convinced. I think that that's a good possible way to go because the other solutions also. That's called. So I just wait.
Right.
Yeah. This is a problem, but when it'll happen again. All right. Anyways, they don't even pay with credit cards, right? So that people have it. People have it on their right. They don't, yeah. Anyways, okay. It's a good thing that phones don't get corona. Anyways, yeah. Okay. So here we have this halacha. So the person should put himself into being soymech on safek d'rabbanan l'kula. That's the direct rule here. The halacha is safek d'rabbanan l'kula, and therefore you're allowed to count ben hashmashis because we can assume that it's night. Now, so what happened? Listen to this. What would happen? I don't remember the answer to this question, but this is a fascinating question. It's relevant to it right now. Someone davens Mincha Ma'ariv, a good English guy. He davens Mincha Ma'ariv at Shkia, and he counted Sfira then because or early Ma'ariv, whatever it is. He counted not early, but Ben Hashmashas. And he wanted to always count over afterwards, like many people do. They count over afterwards to make sure. And one day he forgot, so he goes over to Rav to count over a second time. So he goes on to Rabbi and says, I forgot to count when it's night. So I said, it's okay. So Rabbi Lakula, you can continue counting. And 2 weeks later, he misses davening. And he's playing daven later. He's in the base medrash learning when the first minyan starts. And he hears him saying, he goes, oi, I forgot to count yesterday. So he goes over to Rav and says, Rav, it's Ben Hashmoshes. Can I count Sefira for yesterday? He says, for sure. Why? Because Safik Dabon in the Kula. And you can say that it's day.
You're burning the candle both ends.
Right. So that's the question. Can you burn the candle at both ends?
It's not an issue to pass it for one guy both sides of
I'm just raising this question. Now, in Chuvas of Shmuel HaKoyen, it discusses a similar question to this. And this is, this happens all the time. This happens every year, many times, probably 1,000 times at least. Early Shabbos Minyan, and after they finish davening, so the guy again says, everybody don't forget to count three when you get home. And, oh yeah, I forgot to count three yesterday. Right? So now when is it? It's not even Ben Hashmoshes. It's still in the day. But you're on the next day. Where are you?
It's not Shabbos yet.
It's not Shabbos yet. You want to drive home?
Shabbos.
What? Shabbos for him, but is it Saturday?
It's not night yet.
Right.
So
Shmuel Koyen says that you're allowed to count Sfira. You can be mashlin, even it's after Ma'ariv, because it's still on the calendar day.
Doesn't make it easier.
You don't have what?
Official call, but it's Shabbos.
Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. He said even if everybody does it, it's still day. It's still day. Okay, it's not exactly the Shlosh question, but this is a question that has to be looked into. All right.
Would it matter if you counted the next day and after counting and realized it's still going to be put in the Shlosh? You realize that you forgot to count the day before.
I think it'll be them for sure. You can be Mako, but that's a complicated question. All right. Anyways, now here is where I draw strength from Rabbanim before me. A lot of times I give answers and I say, I hate to contradict myself in one sentence, but I do it anyways. So when the Mishnah Berurah does it, it makes me feel good. It's good company. So what did we say? The halacha is that a medaktik should count at night. If you're not a medaktik, what's the halacha? The halacha is ben hashmoshes. What happens if a person already counted ben hashmoshes? Is there any reason for him to count again?
Why not? Without a bracha.
Without a bracha.
What's the disadvantage?
Well, what's the downside?
You know what? There are people who meister over. You know what? You ever heard that? I want to tell you something. That expression is a misnomer. It's not possible to meister a second time. Meistering over just means that maybe it wasn't done the first time. It doesn't mean meister again. All right? Let's say, and I'm going to give you an example. A person took a lulav and esrog that the Rav said it's kosher b'diavad, and you don't have anything else, you can make a bracha on it. So I made a bracha on it. Now a guy comes with this beautiful lulav and esrog. So he goes there to the Rav and he says, "Should I shake it?" What's the Rav going to tell him?
No, you fulfilled the mitzvah already.
I don't know what this means. What does that mean? Yes or no?
You already fulfilled the mitzvah.
So you are in competition with yourself.
No, they're two different things.
Why are they two different things? Let's say you hear the question. 1 second. I already counted Sefira.
But not.
I got a check. Yes or no? Al pi halacha, I got a check.
Yeah.
Can I do it again? Can I do it again? No.
It doesn't achieve anything.
Can it be? Can you change the check? No. So does it help to count again?
According to this logic, no.
Again, I shook my lulav and esrog with the b'diavad lulav and esrog. Can I shake lulav and esrog again? No, even do without a bracha. Yeah. I can shake lulav and esrog today too, right? Does it help? And if I do it at Sukkot at night, it also doesn't help. After I Mekayim the mitzvah of Dalit Minim, does it help to take it again? I already got a check for that day.
So, but another chaluki with a silver.
I want to tell you something. There are three places. I know that there's only three places because I didn't do the counting. The Kodesh Clover and the Tshuva has three places in the Torah where we see a person did a mitzvah and he's it, and it says you can do it again. There's only three places. I'm going to tell you one of them, and this one is really going to knock your socks off. Okay, a man was desperate to marry a woman, and there was no minion, so he was makadosh her without a minion. Makadosh without a minion couldn't say shavachas. Fine, is she mekudeshes?
They didn't move.
Yeah.
No problem. So the Ramah says you should assemble a minion again, give her the ring again, and then say shavachas. She's your zivik sheni. Got that? Right? Everybody want? Can you do it? Can you marry her again? What? Strange. Okay. So the Mishnah Berurah discusses this in Hilchos Shabbos. There's wine that has kemochim in it, which means it's starting to go sour. It has like white speckles on the top of it. So the halacha is b'diavad, you're yaitz kiddush if you did it. And Shulchan Aruch it says that if you get other wine afterwards, you can make the bracha of kiddush again.
So that's a different.
What?
That's an exception.
There are three exceptions. But I don't know if somebody over here could explain to me how you can make kiddush twice, and it's not a bracha of atala. What? This is kosher kebarzel. These are an explanation. Okay? Well, kiddush. The Kaddish Shabbos, you ever heard of that? Okay? So
I've seen a few times too, because someone comes in with a tray that's wrong.
You obviously not might say anybody, right?
there are people who make a tanai, and they say that if I get a better one, I don't want this one to count. There's all ways to do this. There's a question, the Biskarov and others who have on this issue, which way to do it.
But if you're making a bracha, it gets a little bit complicated, like Kiddush.
100%. I'm now right now reading a okay. No, it should be here. It says as follows: so the Mishnah Berurah says, "Afilo eino yain acher, you don't make a bracha yain sherei chora." Afilo b'diavad in Kiddush, mashmei divrei Rambam, gur beis Yosef, d'lo yotza. Okay, it's possible. V'ayim b'bir halacha. Says the bir halacha. U'be'emes b'rayai dani, achlani ezdayiti yesh la'ayim b'zeh. Because he's supposed to make kiddush on something muvusam, something nice. Ye apostle b'diavad. Halo im shochat behema k'shusha l'korban. You already shechted the behema. Chatas is speaking about. Yesh b'zeh gam kem mishum akriveni lo fechasecha. K'vish Rashi l'nach. So afilu hacha b'vada yoytze b'diavad. Your korban with a shvacha korban. Burak l'mitzvah v'chachila v'ochanami kiddush. Ve'ei nomer im ken yidvei yeh no kosher gam b'nitzach haba b'diavad. 1 second. Ve'ei nomer dochanami. Let's say what did he say this? the Pasuk in Kiddush, and the Pasuk Kosher came to Kiddush, and he says that it's good. Okay, it doesn't say it here. I'll have to find it over here. It's in the symbol that says this idea that you're b'diavad yaitza and you have to do it again. So, anyways, the question over here is a person who counted after Ben Hashmoshes. You know, there was a question. That's not the question about the brush. The question is, can you count again? Can you count again? So, my answer to the question is, I don't think that you really can count again, but you can count again anyways. And I'll explain to you what I'm saying. If you were Yaitza the first time, but all you're doing is being Yaitza more shitas. It's not, there's two different levels when a person does something. There's one level, are you Yaitza or not Yaitza? And then there's a question, okay, you do more shitas again. So according to the shitas that say that it has to be done at night, dafka, so then, even though we don't paskin like that. What? No, but this is not a halacha. So somebody asks me, do you have to do it or you don't have to do it? Let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Now we'll see the next line of Mishnah Berurah and you'll understand why I went else that's better. Okay, what does it say? Does it say to do anything else? You already answered. What does the first opinion say? There's nothing to do again. You understand? No, it's that.
The other was felt that it wasn't good, so I'm doing it now.
I
said
know
that
there's
all
a
of
problem.
this before the-
There's a problem with your tone of voice, and I'll explain to you. I want you to explain to me the first opinion in the Mishnah. I didn't ask you to explain the second opinion. The first opinion says there's no reason to do it again. Then,
Yes, at that point, you need to check. You're good.
okay, and now this is, and that's Mishnah Berurah's, and that's an opinion that is going to argue on the next opinion, which says count again without a bracha. Avo, what does what avo mean? No, he disagrees.
It's not good to go. You shouldn't just forget about it. Rather, you should.
So what does the first opinion say?
You're good to go. Forget about it.
There is nothing to do.
You're done. Finish it. You go
So
home,
I'll do it.
forget about it.
Which
You
one?
say, I counted.
Which one of these two tzadim was the chiddush? The first or the second?
Second.
I think that before I started, everybody thought that the first. Right? No, this is the point. Which one? You already Yaitza? I said, but do better. Right? Take it again. Right? No, which one? Which is the chiddush? That there's no need to do it again, or that there isn't a need to do it again? Ellie, you with me?
Do it again. What do you have to do it again for?
Now,
So that's what you would have thought an hour ago?
No.
No. Okay, so we learned something today. That's wonderful. Okay. That's a sure thing. Anyways, okay. Let's continue. Now these people are davening early. What's called early, we're going to see in a second. Okay, now this is going to be a machlokes. Moina imahem b'loy brach. Count without a brach. Are we in places to do?
No, this is even before with B'diavad, it's okay. It says before Shkia for sure, before Ben Hashmoshes. But B'diavad will be okay.
So I would like to scream at you. Why should you count? Why don't you count now till Shavuos?
No, maybe you forget. So you're counting for a minute, maybe you forget later.
That doesn't go.
But
No,
B'diavad, you want to know.
If a person's counting Ben Hashmoshes and B'diavad Yaitza, that's good. But if you're counting before, So you're doing nothing. So why account it? I said, right now, I don't want to miss out on Sefira. So I'm going to say now, from now until Shavuos. And what's it called? We do, you send the emails, you send them up, right? I get
delay sending.
delay send. So I'll do my delay Sefira right now till Shavuos, and I'm good to go. Well, we can't do that.
The bulk send.
A bulk send. Okay, whatever it's called, right?
Well,
We can't.
the problem is a bit contradiction because it says "V'yim misko balada." If you remember,
Right.
the
So
Berurah,
again,
that's still
I'm
fine.
going to take you to task because again, we made an assumption of when it was that he counted. But here it's a little bit more clear because it says Miba'od Yom. Miba'od Yom sounds like before Shkia.
Right. And how can you have Tamimos if it's B'Bod Yom?
That's a very good question, but I have a better question. How can you count that? Your question is on the third floor. I'm trying to build a basement. I mean, I can't deal with it. Your question is a good question. This needs an explanation.
This one sentence, there's a little, there are two possibilities. What Mibadom is the first year, but then.
Okay, so we're going to see, and then we're going to go back to Allah, which we saw before if we have time, to see a Sharet Sian, which we went through a little bit quick.
Maybe I'd like to ask a question, something the Rabbi alluded to earlier. If it's possible, Yotze after Plod, why don't we count in shul without a bracha and make it tonight? Because then we can count the next day, right?
And Mirz Hashem, when we finish the Bir Halacha today, you will have an answer to that question. Okay? I don't know, excuse me. We will not finish the Bir Halacha today. When we finish the Bir Halacha, you'll have an answer to that question. Let's see. Now, with the Mishnah Berurah scratching his head. Yesh me'achroinim shepirshu dahainu bein hashmoshes do safek laila. Miba'od yom, we're being doicha. It's a doichik pshat, and we're saying that miba'od yom doesn't mean yom. It means bein hashmoshes. Why are we saying that? Because otherwise you can't read this halacha. It doesn't make any sense, right? V'yotzim od yidei sfila pois l'shilein sfila zanazir drabona. Okay. Then you should count without a bracha. And then he writes a lot of the all right. Now I would like to say something, fascinating question which I had recently. There's a yeshiva shemusik. I'm not sure I know how to translate that into English. Yeshiva shemusik. How do you translate that into English? Anyway, to the Yeshiva Shemutzik, you say Kriya Shema tonight. That means a person here in Shul on Shabbos, we daven the second Zman. And for those who are up before they start davening here, so you could still say Kriya Shema the first Zman. So there are those who say Kriya Shema the first one, and they make it tonight. And they say, if the halacha is like the Rabbi Avrohom, that's the first man, so I'm being yaitza with this Kriya Shema. And that which I say Kriya Shema with brachas in 45 minutes, that should be like the Birchas Hashvach and the whatever the pshat and the tefillah of Birchas Kriya Shema is. And if the halacha is like the Gra and the second Zman is 100% okay, so right now I'm being Kaira B'Torah, and later on I'm being Yaitz. Can one make such a tonight? So why do you say yes?
It doesn't seem to make so much sense.
I've seen it before and I do it.
It doesn't seem to make
And you're alive. Well, I mean, I
It
know so far I didn't hear any proof to anything.
doesn't seem to make so much sense.
I have a riot. I have a riot. You're allowed to speak Lashon Hara. I saw people do it and they're alive.
Doesn't
I
seem
saw
to
big people do it.
doesn't seem to make so much sense.
Okay, now this is a very big machlokes place that you can do this. Either you're Yaitz or you're not Yaitz. That's not Tanaim B'Mitzvahs and Mishnah Berurah Abarichas in first Chelik. We don't have time to go into it right now, but this is a very big machlokes whether you can do this or not. What is in it fast? You're not a balabas. I would just say in this venue, I'd like to quote the Chavis Yor on this halacha shulchan aruch, where there's this big debate between Rabbi Avrohom and Rabbi Eger on the subject. Chavis Yor says, I don't know what you guys are arguing about. You never could finish being makabel or malchus shemayim. You do it 100 times all day, and every time you do it, you're mekayim the mitzvah. This is not like your lulav and esrei that you did it once and it's done. Not like Big Megillah. You read Megillah once. I want to read it. Do it again. You cannot lay Megillah again. It doesn't work. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim, says the Chavis Yor. You could do it all the time. You could be yaitz the first time and the second time, and doing it with the brachas doesn't make a difference. You were yaitz the first time and you yaitz the second time. It's a beautiful idea that the Chavis Yor says. Where you say it, where you don't, maybe we'll discuss some other time.